Good night and welcome to Teleislas News, the most relevant and important information of the day. According to publications made on his Facebook account, Representative Jorge Mendez announced that the scrutiny process was finished, in which the Radical Change Party surpassed the coalition party of the U and Colombia Justa Libres.
In the afternoon hours after the scrutiny review process was definitely closed, Representative Jorge Mendez published on his social networks the following message, and I quote, "With the presence of the candidate, lawyers, and witnesses of all the parties, the processes of zonal and scrutiny and municipality scrutiny have been carried out. The people of the island have pronounced with 6,725 votes against 6,612 for the U party. We have achieved the victory. Absurd and unfounded claims against me only show impotence in the face of death. More of same indults launched during the campaign. They will not prosper." On this way, then, according to these data, Representative Jorge Mendez will again obtain his seat in the House of Representatives.
And House candidate Carlos Bryan filed a lawsuit against current Representative Jorge Mendez for alleged electoral fraud. We talked to the candidate, and this is what he told us.
It turns out that we have been denouncing this for a very long time. Since before the elections, we have denounced that threats against me. We denounced the interference of the Comptroller, Attorney General, Prosecutor's Office, and all those who are at the table of justice and who work under pressure from the parliamentarian, and that they have made us more requirements. This is a way to intimidate, to make a process not transparent. But with all that, we have moved forward because I'm a person who does not give up very easily.
On what happened specifically in Providence, this is what the candidate said.
What we have done is to go to the due process. But here we have to speak clearly. We are making some claims before the departmental entities for everything that happened in Providence. Since there are 6 tables in which the voters exceeded 50% of the electoral capacity, and this is something that the software alerts. Therefore, the duty was to count the tables to verify that this is indeed the vote. The third point is that in Providence, the chain of custody was broken. We have evidence that a delegate of the registrar's office who was counting the votes, we have the videos where the tri-code ballot box has only one key, which is illegal.
And the Office of the Comptroller General of the Republic will visit the archipelago to determine the physical and legal status of several unfinished works or white elephants in the department.
From Tuesday, March 22nd to May 27th, officials of the Comptroller General's office will be present in the departments of Vichada, Amazonas, Valpes, Guyana, and San Andres in order to visit unfinished works and white elephants in these territories. For the archipelago, the visit of officials is scheduled from May 16 to May 27. During these days, the entity will install a large tent in strategic locations, which will function as a fair to address complaints and citizens' complaints. The visitors can also learn how to be part of fiscal control. Will also promote the Control app, application, and the entire portfolio of services of the Comptroller, so that the islanders help to make participatory fiscal control and care for public resources.
Female tiger shark that circulated in the waters of the island was captured, marked, and released 10 miles from the island. The Environmental Corporation requested support from international experts.
The first image of the capture of the female tiger shark were published on the social network of scientist Diego Coveñas, who posted this image on his Instagram account, showing maneuvers for the capture of the aquatic animal and the installation of a satellite tag. The same image showed that a 3.6-meter long tiger shark named Miss Tata was released at 10 miles and that it will soon be able to be followed in real time, just as the Environmental Corporation had already announced. In order to ensure the protection and preservation of the 2 specimens on the tiger shark that was on the southwest side of the island of San Andres on the vicinity of the Poxhole sector, Coralina Corporation requests support from national and international shark experts to capture and relocate the specimens to a place far from the seafloor biosphere reserve in order to move them away from the coast so that they no longer represent a potential danger to local and visitors.
This type of animal does not usually return to the area unless they have food available in in that sense. Coralina has been asking the community for days to avoid throwing leftover food or fishing waste into the sea to prevent these animals from continuing to reach the coast. The animal was in good health, and taking into account that the community has asked us to continue with the work to capture a second specimen, tomorrow we will continue with this work.
During the process, a genetic sample was taken for an in-depth study of the tiger shark population in the Seafloor Biosphere Reserve, which was later released more than 10 miles from the island of San Andres. This procedure is being performed for the first time in the archipelago with the support of Diego Cardeñosa of the Florida International University, who brought the satellite tag to tell us with the safe capture of the animal and long-term tracking. The tag will allow real-time monitoring through an application that will be available to the general public in the near future, and to learn more about how sharks behave in the islands and their importance for the ecosystem. The name given to the satellite tag is Mistata, in homage to the Rizal name. Tomorrow, the same procedure is expected to be done to try to locate the second tiger shark that, according to the community, is in the sea.
And the Environmental Corporation has strongly rejected animal hunting in the department. The director was emphatic that any citizen who attempt against the life and integrity of aquatic animals will be subject to different sanctions by various authorities.
Coralina Environmental Corporation rejects the action of hunting, fishing, and mistreating of marine fauna, as well as illegal fishing and violation in the zoning of the marine protected area. Through a social network, the corporation expressed having learned of the unfortunate fact of fishing of a nurse shark, which is a species that do not represent any dangers to the man. Coralina invites the community to help protect marine species that are their natural environment, fulfilling ecosystem functions. They call on coastal and floating businesses around the island of San Andres to avoid throwing food waste into the sea or bathing marine fauna.
All species in the world are protected by regional regulations. The corporation decreed the protection of these species. The hypothesis for me and the corporation is that human being seeks where there is protection.
The director also warns that whoever attempts against marine and wild species increasing environmental crime and be subject to different sanctions by various authorities. For example, fine and even jail after violating Law 1801 of 2016, violation of permitted use in zoning of marine protected area, sanction for the use of prohibited fishing gear in the department. In cases a person is caught in flagrante delicto, only the seized material may be confiscated, but also the vehicles. Illegal hunting and fishing is protected throughout the national territory.
The Superior Court of Archipelago Department of San Andres, Sul Providence, and Santa Catalina provisionally appointed Dr. Wendy Joan Corpus Mondragon to the position of first municipal criminal judge with mixed function of the judicial districts, since the courtroom of this corporation in ordinary session accepted the resignation of Dr. Jair Torres Diaz. And in other news, the Secretariat of Culture began the payment of BEPS to the cultural managers and creators of the archipelago.
This is a joint work between the Ministry of Culture, the Departmental Government of San Andres, and Colpensiones in compliance with Decree 2012 of 2017, which establishes how the resources from the collection of the procultural stamp will be invested, which must be designated for the social security of artists, creators, and cultural managers, through the financing of complementary social service of periodic economic benefits in the modality of life annuity.
En esta oportunidad queremos dar parte a la comunidad.
This time, we want to inform the community of the efforts made by the government and the Secretariat of Culture towards the BEPS program, which benefits the elderly population, cultural managers of the department, who are given an annuity for life in order to extol the work done and the contributions they have made to the department. We want to inform them that from this week, the payments are being made and that it is very important that they approach the Bank of Bogota to obtain their payment.
The International Junior Chamber had a meeting with the young people in the department where they talked about the importance of digital marketing in this era.
In recent days, the International Junior Chamber held a conference aimed at young people on the island in order to learn about the organization dedicated to the training of leaders who contribute their volunteer work to the transformation of the community. This was announced by the president of JCI Colombia, Julian Eduardo Rodriguez.
Right now, we are doing a conference in which we are going to explain to young people what JCI is, how we work with the community, and we are going to talk about entrepreneurship and digital marketing aimed at young people of the islands.
The president explained the importance of digital marketing.
Digital marketing is one of the skills that today is becoming quite important in the working world. They start looking for international companies' talent, and today we are looking for people interested in this type of careers, and also that through JCI we can acquire those skills.
In turn, a participant in the event said that it is appropriate to train and guide young people in digital marketing.
The idea is to train young people in the areas of interest of each young person and guide them. Digital marketing and all the soft industrial tools that are not naturally or normally taught in schools or universities, and right now are the careers and skills that are in demand worldwide, and you can even work remotely and you can earn in dollars.
It is noteworthy that these conferences bring together young members of JCI, an organization that develops leaders for a changing world through the application of a philosophy of active citizenship and brotherhood.
At this time, we continue with Victor Fusalba and all the sport news.
Hello, here are the best sports of the island. With the purpose of rescuing the sport and recreational tradition in the Raisal people, some recreational and sports activities were initiated. These activities that are part of Raisal culture is basketball, a sporting activity that takes place on the courts of the Pink Coliseum, where young people from different sectors and clubs of the islands gather to play and integrate, seeking to rescue part of this tradition of the archipelago. This is what Kevin Masquita said.
We try let the children recover the traditional game them where we used to play when we was children, and where our parents them used to play when we was children, because many of the generation after the early 2000s to the early 2000s, many of them not get to play with the bonga car, how you call it, and a couple of other games where they say babies, it's not even my generation get to play. So we try to make the picnic and a little bit more about the traditional games, where they're part of our culture. And additional to that, well, with this basketball game, we look that the children then play and apply what they learn in a practice, because it's frustrated for our children to practice and not get to play. And when you play, you develop a lot of things and you see where your mistakes them is in the game, so we could correct that. So we look to them play and then develop themselves like how they do over yonder.
It is very important to rescue the sporting and cultural tradition of the islanders by working with these children and young people from a very early age, as stated by Masquita. The support of mothers to their children in sport does pay, since it produces satisfaction and good results. Oh my Lord! Alan Navarro Arjona is a baseball player who wants to achieve his dreams of playing in the big leagues. Thanks to his performance, discipline, and dedication, it's beginning to see fruits on his baseball career abroad, looking to fulfill his dream as an athlete. Satisfied and happy is his mother, who has always supported him in his training process. This mother is Arlette Arjona, who proudly shares her joy and satisfaction in the supporting process of her son.
First of all, I want to thank God to the opportunity that Alan has in this moment. He's in Florida. He's playing with the high school playing. He's the top catcher in this moment in Florida. He's making grand slam and what we call home run. So I feel so proud. I want to thank the Lord because he's, with all this sacrifice, he's going ahead. Yes, I want to tell all the mothers that see that their children can play, can do anything to work for their dreams. They have the opportunity to do it. Sometimes we wait that the government give us everything, and it's not so. We like mothers have to work for their dreams.
The support of a mother with her child never ends because it is a great bond that fills one with joys and happiness, said Milet. How good it is to see mothers supporting their kids. This will be all in sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.